Welcome to the Voices for Voices podcast, sponsored by Redwood Living. Thank you for joining us today. I am Justin Allen Hayes, founder and executive director of Voices for Voices, host and humanitarian. You can learn more about us and Voices for Voices on our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and our website, voicesforvoices.org. Voices for Voices is a 501c3 nonprofit charity organization that survives solely on donations. So if you're able to, please consider heading over to voicesforvoices.org to help us continue our mission and the goal and dream to help 3 billion people over the course of my lifetime and beyond. Or you can also send a donation to the mailing address of Voices for Voices at 2388 Beckett Circle, Stow, Ohio 44224, or through the Cash App at Voices for Voices. Are you or somebody you know looking for a volunteer opportunity? If so, please reach out to us today via email at president@voicesforvoices.org. I founded Voices for Voices to provide a platform for folks to share their stories with others as we work to break the stigma around mental health, accessibility, and disabilities, helping people get the help they need while also helping them prepare or transition into the workforce with the Voices for Voices Career Center, where we connect talent with opportunity for both job seekers and employers from coast to coast and in every industry and job level. Before we get started today, just wanted to do a couple quick event announcements for our viewers, our listeners, and those reading through our transcript as we go live with this episode. The first annual World Voices for Voices Day is going to be held on May 25th of 2023. That's on a Thursday. Please check our social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook, for more details on what that is going to entail. But I can tell you today, it will at least entail a bonus episode of our Voices for Voices podcast, really given a day for celebration and what we call celebrating the voice in all of us. And then secondly, we are absolutely thrilled to be able to put on our third annual A Brand New Day Gala and Fundraiser. And we have our save the date out there, and ticket information and sponsorship information is going to be available. But please mark your calendar for Friday, October 13th, obviously of 2023, from 6:30 to 8:30. We are going to be holding this year's event at the Leona Farris Lodge, which is at the Silver Springs Lodge at Silver Springs Park, 5027 Stow Road, Stow, Ohio 44224. It's going to be another evening of music, of inspiration, of art, of sign language interpretation, and just celebrating the story and the voices in all of us through whatever our voice may be. We don't have limitations. We just have things that make us different and are able to share in a valuable way to many people out there, not only in Northeast Ohio, across the nation and the United States, but across the world as well, as we have viewers and listeners and supporters and donors coming from all over the world, which is really a goal. And when the organization started a couple years ago, that was a goal that I wasn't sure how long it would take, but we're already working towards that. So thank you to everybody who has been a part of Voices for Voices and continues to be and into the future. Today, I am very excited to welcome our guest from New York State. She is a New York Police Department, NYPD detective, a holistic nutritionist, and also a media content creator. please welcome to the Voices for Voices podcast, Maxine Corner. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here.
You bet. Yeah, when
Yes.
the opportunity came across of seeing some information and content from your LinkedIn profile and looking a little bit deeper into your background. Obviously, LinkedIn, we can get a high level about individuals, and
Right.
for obvious reasons, we don't want to share information, especially with your line of work. Have to be
Right.
safe about that. Very thrilled to have you with us to talk about everything, all about you as what led you into your career at the NYPD. That can really talk to some of our individuals looking for careers, and then get into what the day-to-day is like, and what the type of toll it takes on you physically, mentally, regardless of the politics and that aside, but just the
Right.
job specifically. And then we can probably step into then your nutritionist, your holistic offerings, and how you work that route, and then we can get into the content, because I know that you also have been able to share through different media outlets about you. So why don't we just take it from the start? How did you get interested in law enforcement?
Right. It's so funny. This story of how I started in law enforcement was just mere coincidence. Now, I was taking this, my sister was going to take the exam for a police officer, and I just went along with her. And as I was going along with her, I took the test, I passed, and she did not pass.
Oh my.
Yes. And she decided that she did not want to be a police officer. She ended up going another route instead. And my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, because I was working at a job, but it was a department store. And it wasn't really, there were no real benefits involved in it. There were no promotion opportunities. I really didn't see myself going far in this particular position. As and then I began to talk to my boyfriend, who's now my husband at the time, and he was saying, you know what, I think you should go for it. And I was like, I don't know, And then, with his persistence and also him helping me along the way and telling me, listen, if you want to have a career, and especially if you're not sure where exactly you want to go at that time, although I was 27, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I did graduate from Hunter College with my bachelor's in communications, and I knew I wanted to do something in the media, but I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted. But in my mind, it was not the police department.
Okay.
And so, as I began to go along with the process, and I became a police officer, and eventually got promoted into being a detective, a second grade detective, which is what I am doing now for 19 plus year. I will be retiring soon, within the next few months, of course. That will
Yeah.
be 20 years. And I would love to say my experience in the NYPD has been completely amazing. I have learned so much from just people in the public. I've learned so much from my coworkers, and I've also learned a lot about myself
Mm.
as well. I learned that my ability to deal with certain things
Mhm.
is higher than I thought,
Oh,
because I'm able to empathize with people and feel what they're going through. And then I am there to let them know, listen, it's going to be okay. I am here to help you. So, one of the reasons why people do call 911 99.9% of the times, or I should say 100% of the times, is for help, right?
mhm.
Because
Yeah.
that's what we're there to do. And I go out there and I put 100% each and every day in my job. And I can absolutely tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I love doing what I do. Absolutely love it. You know, it's the times when you help someone, especially if someone has a child and they want you to come and just speak to that child to let them know that, listen, I am from this community. Look at me. Look what I have accomplished in my life. You too can accomplish that. You just have to stay on the right path and you can do it. And then sometimes I'll see people that I've actually worked with and helped, and they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, wow, like, thank you so much for helping me. Thank you so much for talking to my son or my daughter. Or they'll come up to you and they'll say, hey, my daughter, something simple like my daughter wants to be a police officer. She's never seen a police officer in where we're from, you know, and then they want to take a picture with you. And just that, just them seeing someone that looks exactly like them, a female that's a police officer that they've never seen in where they're from, and that gives them the opportunity to say, you know what, I too can accomplish this as well, which I absolutely love, 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 you know.
How does that make you feel when you are in those instances where you are able to help with whether it's just speaking with a child and sharing information that we're here to help, and yes, you can continue to go forward and go ahead and chase your dreams. You're still able to dream and go after that. How do those instances just make you feel from like an emotional side?
When I speak to someone from an emotional side, I feel happy. It makes me feel happy inside. Like I feel like I am accomplishing something. I'm just not just there. I am helping as well. And I would like to think that what I am doing or what I'm saying to that person has made a difference in their lives, or will make a difference in their lives. And so that makes me feel very happy and accomplished, especially like now in my career. It means a lot more because when I was younger in my career, I didn't really appreciate all the help that I was given to people. But now that I can actually like sit back and have someone tell me, wow, thank you so much, officer. I really needed that. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you for explaining this situation to me. I understand now. And because of you, I have changed. That makes me feel really good inside, warm and fuzzy. I
Yeah.
love it. I absolutely love it. I'm telling you, I love it. Especially like working in a city like New York City, police department, and to have someone come up to you and tell you, like, thank you for what you're doing, or thank you for just helping the community. Thank you so much. That means a lot. That means a lot, you know. So I love it.
Yeah, and I can't believe I got this far without thanking you for your service and all that you've done up
Yes.
until now, and to finish out your career and be able to retire. What do you had mentioned that you found yourself being able to handle whatever those situations are better than you thought. Are there things that you look back at maybe in your life that may have maybe prepared you for it, just at like a high level of like, okay, well, I didn't realize this at the time, but maybe a particular set of circumstances or a thing that happened to you or to somebody that you're like, oh wow, like I was able to do that at a younger age, and so now that I in the police force, that you're able to actually continue that and kind of surprise yourself maybe a little bit, like you said.
Right. You know what? Absolutely. Because even working in the department store and dealing with customers who are upset at you because they want to return something and then there's nothing that you can do to help them. Let's say they don't have a receipt or something like that. There's nothing that you can do. Right. So that, without thinking, knowing that that was preparing me for this job as a police officer, because I have to learn to listen. Listening is so important, and we don't think about how important it is to listen to someone. And what I've also realized is sometimes people will come to you, they'll be upset, but then what I learned is like they're not really upset at you, they're upset at the situation. They're upset that they've been waiting here for 20 minutes and now you come. So now that you're there, they're taking it out on you, but they're really upset at the situation. They're not really mad at you. And then I have to separate myself from the situation. And now I am there in the sense where I have to say to myself, okay, this person is not mad at me. They're mad at the situation that they're going through right now. And so by not taking it personally and thinking that that person is personally attacking me, I am able to better analyze, better understand, better emphasize, and give better directions and answer their questions in a better way without feeling like overwhelmed or without feeling like this person is attacking me, you know. So I can't feel like someone is attacking me, even if they are attacking me with words. I still have to remain calm and just realizing that, okay, this person is already upset. Now I'm here and then they're still upset. I just have to de-escalate is the word I should be using. This de-escalate it and don't make it worse than what it is. So if I go in there and I am yelling and screaming at that person, then I realize that's just going to escalate the situation. So I try to go in and de-escalate and not taking it personal. So from working at the department stores and all those jobs have prepared me now for this opportunity that I became a police officer and a detective at that. And sometimes in life, I realized that you don't see that life is preparing you for something else. You never understand the reasons why you are thrown in some situations, and at the time the situation may seem like, oh my god, this is so bad, this is horrible, I can't wait to be, but I can't wait for it to be over. But then you realize like, oh, now I see what's going on. Now I see why this happened, because if this didn't happen, I wouldn't have learned to deal with this situation, whatever that situation is, right? So that's pretty much just preparing, being prepared. I just used all my experiences that I had working in those, believe it or not, like I said, the stores, the department stores, people coming at you, they're very upset. There's something that they don't like. And that really helps a lot, along with the training in the police department has really helped me a lot as well.
I'm glad you mentioned all those experiences that they prepared you, no matter what they were. It didn't have to be experience that was directly related to law enforcement to give you, those transferable skills, that you were gaining those throughout your life leading up into that point. And I'm sure even when you were going for your bachelor's, being in those situations of being in groups of people, just not trying to take things personally and just working with them to get the project finished, just so you could continue on. And as an instructor, that's one thing that I try to instill a little bit to my students as well. Just because you're a student doesn't mean you're not gaining the skills. A lot of the skills you have that you're gaining, working as teams, doing projects, presenting, speaking, those are all things that you can go to an interview and speak to those. And how much time and energy you put into that's up to them. But the actual experience themselves, they're given those opportunities. So what would you say if somebody's watching, many somebody's watching, listening, interested in law enforcement, might not be, what would be some things you would share with them, the positives that you touch on a little bit, but to maybe help somebody along into that point of, what do I need to do to go ahead to be a police officer? I handle a weapon. Well, I don't like guns. Or what are some of the things that might be helpful to individuals that might be going through that same path, just like you, Maxine?
Right. You know what? As far as like handling weapons, that's something that you will learn in the police academy. So that would not be an issue at all. Good. And like I said, life gives you challenges and there's nothing that you can't overcome. If you have a dream and you want to accomplish it, whatever it may be, law enforcement, doctors, nurse, garbage person, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, you cannot be held back because you're scared. You can't be afraid because you're scared of what's going to happen. You just have to go right in and do it. Because look at me, I would have never thought that I am here now, almost ready to retire.
Yeah.
You know, as a detective, NYPD, you know, second grade. And it's amazing. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I do have to give my husband credit, because had he not pushed me and say, listen, you can do this, right? So sometimes you do need that person also in your life to let you know that you can do it, right? Even when you're doubting yourself, you can do it. And then you have to start believing that you can do it. And once you believe that you can do it, and then you put your mind to it, and then you just do it, you know, like the commercial. Just do
Yeah,
it.
and I mean,
Yeah,
in the NYPD, not just one of the top agencies in the United States, but I mean, really in the world. I mean,
absolutely.
it's well known across the world. So again, you're accomplishing a dream, and you're being able to share kind of that mentorship experience with others, just like with us today, and those experiences that you continue to have with children or families, de-escalating, just talking through situations with them. And I think that's so awesome, because there is a lot of positive things happening, and that's what I think we just continue to need that. We need people to
Absolutely.
continue, to your point, of helping us along, to help guys. So something was in your
Yes.
husband that says,
Could be a
I need
teacher,
the
a
support.
friend.
Yes.
Yes. Could be anyone. Could be a stranger. You know, look at you and what you're doing. This is so great. You know, you're
Thank you.
bringing all this awareness, mental health. You're helping people. I think that's amazing. You know, and non for profit, that's even better. So I think this is great. So you don't have to be a police officer. It could just be anyone on the street that could influence you. You know, so I just think it's just great. It's just great. Yeah.
Great.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe we could now transition into the nutrition side, and how you got interested just in that industry, that field. What kind of brought you into that, and how. And I think helping people was a big part of it. The
Right.
same thing like with being a detective, just a
Right.
different way of helping people.
Mhm.
So maybe there are individuals out there that have the same interests that you have and had. So would you be able to share a little bit about that?
Sure. You know, I growing up in a Caribbean household, and we eat these really sometimes good, sometimes really unhealthy foods, most of which are fried.
Uh,
And I saw my mom developed diabetes
oh,
and high blood pressure. And I wanted to help. I said, what can I do to help someone else, to help them get healthier, to let them know that there's other alternatives, like oil. You can
yeah,
change your oil out, something simple like that. You can go from white rice to brown rice. You can start having quinoa. There's all these other options that you have. Because for me, growing up, I didn't know that in my head, there was only one option, and that was just rice or potatoes. And then we had a lot of starchy food as well, which, starchy food, especially if you have diabetes, that's no good,
mm,
right? And that's
right,
all I grew up eating. So I wanted to find a way to help people. And what better way than to become a holistic nutritionist and to spread the word about health, how important it is. Because to me, your body is like a well-oiled machine, right? It's like a car.
yeah,
If you don't take care of your car,
mhm,
you take care of your car. I should say, you take care of your car better than you take care of your body, right?
yeah,
You take your car, you get it washed, you get it polished, you do all these things. But then when it comes to our body, our minds, we don't take care of it. We just don't. Now, I'm not saying that you can't go out and enjoy whatever you consider enjoying a specific kind of food that you love,
mhm,
but you also have to incorporate a healthy version as well. And you can still enjoy, because I have a lot of clients that would say to me, "Oh, but I love this food and I can't have anything else." And then to them, it's only because they haven't had other options, and they also haven't learned another way of cooking. They only know frying. And I have to say, listen,
oh,
you can saute. You can boil. There's so many different ways. You can grill. There's so many different ways that you can cook and make it healthier. It doesn't always have to be fried and fried and fried. There's many different ways that you can cook the same food that you enjoy and make it healthier. So that's what I try to do. I try to say, okay, here you are. You're having this particular food and you want to make it better. Sometimes, like I said, it's just changing up the oil, add different spices, curry, things like that, a little turmeric. Those spices are great as well. And they are anti-inflammatory, especially when we're talking about turmeric. So stuff like that, I try to let people know that there's different spices that you can use as well. And then you don't have to use a lot of these chemicals like the MSG. You have to be careful. I speak to them about reading your nutrition facts labels. Yes, I found that a lot of people don't understand how to read the labels, right? Because
it's a lot of information. Yeah.
And it really does get confusing, right? Because when you look at a label and it says 200 calories, and take for example a bag of chips, right? You would look at it and it would say 200 calories, and then you're thinking to yourself, oh, okay, I eat this bag of chips, it's 200 calories. But if you read the fine print, it said 10 chips.
Yeah. You gotta start multiplying.
Yes. So it's really per serving, and the serving size is 4 servings. So eating this bag, you multiply that by 4, so you're gonna do 2, 4, 6, 8. You're eating 800 calories, not 200 calories. So a lot of stuff that you also have to educate people in, and I also have to educate them in how to read the nutrition facts label, which is very, very important, especially when it comes to nutrition. You have to know. And I do notice though a lot now that I don't know if you notice, let me know, that on the back of most of the products now you have to scan to see the ingredients.
Yeah, they want you to take that extra step.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I was just at the grocery store and I looked and I was like, what is this? Oh, wow, you have to scan. That's interesting. So to me, that's actually new. A lot of the products are starting to come out with where you have to scan with a phone to read. And a lot of older people, I would say, are not really understanding. Now they have to, first, it takes forever to learn how to use the phone. I have a lot of family members have difficulty understanding that. Now you have to give them a phone and then they have to scan it. So, I mean, the whole thing is like, but it's a process, right? Like anything else, you have to learn one step at a time. So that's where we are.
So how do you market your business and what you do? How when you got started in this particular industry, how, going from being able to help your family and then looking outward of how you can help other people as well. So for somebody that might be looking to get into a business, what you don't have to share any trade secrets, but just at a high level, if somebody's interested, what they could do.
Absolutely. You know what? It's not complicated. I'm going to tell you that everything takes time, right? There is no overnight success, right? The challenge is how long it takes you to get there. And once you're there, that's your reward. So I am going to say, for me, I started out just, I took my tests, I became the holistic nutritionist, and I said to myself, okay, now where do I go from here? I started looking at YouTube, right? And I said, what better way to market myself than to open a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
And I started opening my YouTube channel and I started talking about just health and fitness and mental health and everything, because it all has to do, comes together. And once I opened up my YouTube channel, I just started cooking. I started talking to an audience, and I have to say I'm very happy. I have over 12,000 subscribers on my Maxines Corner YouTube channel.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. That's huge.
Yes. And like I said, it wasn't an overnight thing. It took time. Yeah. And then I said, oh, let me go to Instagram, right? And then I went on to Instagram, and there I have 13,000 followers. And like I said, it wasn't something that happened overnight. And the world has changed so much that it is so much easier now to get out there, meaning with social media. It's much easier. And had it not been for YouTube or probably Instagram, it would take me a little longer, but that has helped me a lot. And the fact that I love what I'm doing, right? So
Yeah.
the first thing is you have to love what you're doing, because like I was saying before, the reward is not going to be as soon as you start, because I realize that a lot of people, they want to get rewarded right away. It's kind of like, well, why isn't it happening right now? Why can't I see the results right now? And I try to say, listen, what you're going through right now, that's the challenges. That's what's going to make you strong. And then when you get to where you are, that's the reward. That's it right there. Right? So it's not something that happened overnight. It took me years, and I'm still not where I want to be yet. Right?
Yes.
So it's a process. It's a process, but you have to love what you want to do. You have to be persistent, and you can't be in it for the money. This is why I said you have,
Yes.
yes, yes, because if you're there for the money, you're gonna cry. You're gonna say, why am I not making money, right? And then you're not gonna want to do it because you don't love it. See, I enjoy what I do. So when I was doing it, I was just doing it because I love it. Anything other than that is just the icing. So for me, I would say the first thing I would say to anyone is, if you're gonna do it because you love it, not because you think that you're going to get rich and famous, because that's probably, I don't know, that probably won't come, but you will do it because it's something that you love to do, and you want to spread the word about health and fitness because you care. But if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, that's not going to work, not going to work at all. Yes.
I'm so happy you brought that up because I found in my life
Mm-hmm.
the same thing with, uh, I guess in my instance, that I was trying to attach everything to money. What I would do, like, okay, I'm doing this, so what dollar amount
Right.
goes with this? And
Mm-hmm.
we just gotta, if I'm doing something, there has to be a dollar amount
Mm-hmm.
assigned to it. And I was neglecting not only my mental health, but just emotions and not
Right.
accepting
Right.
things. And so now that with having this nonprofit, it's, I'll say,
Mm-hmm.
one of the first times in my life, and I'm 41, that
Mm-hmm.
I am emotionally and passionate about what I'm doing. So yeah, like, do we want to make money? Do we want to, progress in all those ways?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, if, like, what gets you to wake up in the morning? And if
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, well, I'm not getting those dollars today, well, why am I going to have to wait 6 months? Well, you might have to wait six
Right.
months to even plan to do something, and then you got
Right.
to market that opportunity and hope that, not hope in some instances, but share that with people and hope that it catches on and it touches
Right.
the right people. And it wasn't until I was bought in emotionally to
Mm-hmm.
what I was doing that I found, I guess, a little bit of greater peace with just myself, just in the day
Yeah.
to day. Like, okay, am I happy with what I'm doing, or
Yeah.
working for the corporation for because I need the paycheck? And so I'm very lucky in my position where with my wife, that she has been supportive in that,
Yeah.
where
Of
and even
course.
talking with my psychiatrist, he
Mm-hmm.
said, if you want to be in things for money, there are
Mm-hmm.
certain things you have to do, but if you want to
Mm-hmm.
do things because you love it, that's really where you're going to get the most
Yeah.
satisfaction, and that's going to keep you going day after day, instead of, oh my gosh, yeah,
Yes.
there are going to be days
Yes.
that are not
Yes.
good, but they're not going to be
Yes.
all good.
Yes.
But that
Yes.
just, why should I continue doing this? And you're like, and
Right.
you're probably like, well, I'm making this video and I'm doing these things, and this is going to get
Yes.
put out there, and then it's going to be a consistent content, and then
Yeah.
my followers are going to see it, then they might share it,
Yes.
and then things just start happening
It's
in the
too much. Yeah.
background.
Yes. It's too much. When you think about it too much, like you said, and you put the money on it, then now and then your audience can see that you're not enjoying it too. If you're just throwing it out there and I'm just doing this for the money, people can see that. People can read. They can see that, oh, this person is not really interested in what they're doing. They're just doing it for the money, and then, like I said, like, you have to love it, because there's gonna come times when the money may not be there. So it has to be something that you love. And like you said, you found peace once you realize, like, oh, I'm doing this nonprofit. I love it. This is what I love to do. And I'm enjoying it. I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it. And I'm not putting myself through the whole oh, how much is this gonna work? How many views do I have? Because a lot of people are all about the views. You can do a wonderful video and then you may get 10 views.
Yeah.
And in your head
Yep.
that video is gonna make 1,000,000 views. I'm exaggerating the numbers,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Yeah, because you put so much work into it. This is why you have to do it, because you love it. Because this has happened to me many times. Do videos, I'm cooking, I'm like, yes, this is a wonderful recipe. And then it's like, oh, okay, but you're doing it because you love it. That has to be it. It has to be the love. So it all boils down for me in doing something that you love, whatever it may be. You have to choose what you love to do, because in life, you're not going to be happy if you don't love what you're doing, right? So that's I would say that's the number one thing. What do you think?
I totally agree. And on the kind of social media front, I just had the discussion with my class that wrapped up, and we went through a simulation where they had to schedule posts and had to be certain products at certain times. And anyways, long story short is they learned that just because they put the video together, just because they made the post and they have maybe 1,000 followers, they thought that they were going to get at least 1,000 people are going to see it.
Right.
And I said that's not necessarily the case. I'm like, it took me like 40 years. I'm literally just like finding it out. And here I'm an instructor, and I should already know this. I'm teaching.
No, it's true. It's absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's where the passion comes in. If whether 5 people see it and it's all family, or whether that blows up and the right person sees it and shares it to their followers. And that was one of the, we went around at the end of the class and said, what was one of the big takeaways you had? And probably 50% of the students, now whether they said it just because they were looking for a cop out to what they were saying, like, I don't want to think of something original, but they said, I didn't realize this, that I thought that when I was making a post that all my followers were seeing it. And so I think whatever that thing is, that hopefully that teaches the students just to understand that, okay, like it might be fun and like, yeah, I'm putting my post, I'm putting this video together, but it doesn't necessarily always equate to the most views, most shares, most likes, the money. Now it can, but to your point, it takes time, and there's going to be those days that are dry where, like you said, you're going through and showing a recipe. You're taking your time, like no matter what, like even if the money, like isn't, like there's not a dollar amount tied to a specific video at that time. It's still your time. Like you're taking your time, your video, like
you're producing, you're everything. You're the creator, you're the director, you're the producer, you're lighting everything. It's all you. And yes, you're right. It does take time, and you're gonna stay. You have to edit. Edit takes time as well. So people will see you. They see what you do. They see what I do, and maybe you make it look easy. It may look easy, but they don't realize the work that goes into it. It's a lot of work. This is why, like we both said, and like you said to your student, you have to love what you do. You have to love what you do.
Sure.
So if you don't love what you do, then I don't know.
And I think this really dovetails nicely into your content creation, with media, with what you're doing, and I'll let you get to where the next steps for you after retirement, like what that looks like for you. But how did the media and content creation, did it come easy to you? Was it the nutrition holistic side that opened that up, or how did all that come about, and just an interest to you?
Well, I've always loved the media. Obviously, my major was communication. So I knew I wanted to do something in that field, right? I was also on my college radio.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, WHCS, where Under College Speaks, right? So I still remember it. So, right, it's a college radio. But I knew then, once I was doing that I was destined. Like, that's what I love to do, right? I love speaking, I love listening, and I love giving out information. So to me, I knew that that was something that I absolutely wanted to do. And I wanted everyone to understand what I loved, and I wanted to just share the information with them to, if I could reach a broader audience and then let them know. But even if one person, even if I get to one person,
Yeah.
to me, I I've accomplished something. I've had people that write to me and they said, "Oh wow, Maxine, thanks for this recipe. I gave it to my mother who's diabetic and she really loves it."
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
yeah, just to me, just that one comment. So, I'm sure there's many more comments that's not too good. And that's something that you have to prepare yourself. Also in the police department, they say something like you have to have thick skin.
Mm.
On social media, you must have thick skin. There is no way about it. I have done recipes where someone will write me and they would tell me the way I should have made the recipe.
Oh.
Right? They tell me the way they think I should have done it. So that's something else also that you have to understand with social media, that you must have thick skin and you have to prepare yourself for that. And I would like people to know that whatever you're doing right now, that's preparing you for whatever you want to accomplish in life. So I would say just keep doing what you're doing and just do one step at a time. And don't be afraid of social media. It's just you in your room, in your house, by yourself, speaking to the camera. There's no one there. It's you get the chance to re-record, to re-edit, to do it, to make it perfect for you, right? And
That's right.
it won't matter what someone else is saying, because everyone is not going to love your content. Everyone is not going to be happy to see you. And, social media, I don't want to get too much into it, but it builds you up, right?
Yes.
Just to pull you back down. Right? And that's what I've noticed. So yes, in a sense, this is why I said you must have thick skin. But I would say one of the best way to start is social media.
Right.
Open up a YouTube channel, you know, a business page. That's one of the best way to do it. And just start doing what you love. It could be playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It could be teaching people how to speak another language. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing and you want to share it with the world, just go ahead and do it. Do it because you love it, not because you're trying to make money, because that will happen eventually because you love doing what you're doing, and you will see the rewards. So I would say just start out little, start out with a little channel and start putting content up so you can get yourself out there, because that's the best way now. Volunteer maybe to do speeches, but if you're a person that you don't like doing speeches or anything like that, then like I said, it's your cell phone. You don't have to go out and buy all these crazy equipments. You don't need that. If you have a cell phone that has Wi-Fi, that's all you need. And you just do
Yes.
your video. That's it. And then you get yourself out there. You have to get yourself out there, and social media right now is one of the best ways to get started. And you have to be knowledgeable also of what you're doing. You can't just do something just because someone else is doing it and you feel like, oh, okay, I'm just going to do that, because I realize that how many people are doing podcasts?
Yeah.
How many people are doing nutrition? There's so many people doing this stuff,
Yeah.
but you can't worry about other people. You have to do it because you love it. And then that's it. You will see the reward in that. And you just start off one step at a time, small steps, and you will see the rewards eventually.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's why I try to share and take in that even these people, if somebody wants to judge success by wealth or whatever that measuring stick is, that those individuals, they started small too. I mean, maybe when they grew up, there wasn't the social media, but they had to find what worked for them, and they started small. Apple didn't start producing millions of devices the first day they started. In organizations, they don't always start when somebody's in 21, 22, 23. Sometimes they, to your point, go through life, they go through situations that's preparing them. And then at whatever point that is, that they have the opportunity to do that thing that they love, if they're 50, 60, 70, whatever that is, that's what they love to do. And so all those experiences led up to then, but they had to start. They had to take that first step, and I think sometimes it's hard to see that it's not a straight path. It's not like once I get started, like I'm gonna start out with one follower, then the next day, because these students, they come in and say, well, for this marketing plan, we're gonna gain 1,000 followers in a month, and I'm thinking maybe that's possible, but you have to have a plan about it. It's not just because in your head that you're equating that with gaining momentum and moving forward to be well known or whatever that may be. And that's something I've had to think of. And to your point about the YouTube channel, of I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, well, I don't know. I really don't want to do that. Like, that's not for me. But you have to. There are certain ways that not only on the mobile devices, but in the households. That's with the TVs. That's one of the ways. YouTube TV. That's one of the ways. So you got to look at that market and say, okay, I need to just start. And I think that's the point. Start with something you're passionate about. The money that will come down the road. It will show with your work, with their work. And that's huge. What would you say? I guess what are the next steps? Like people look into you and your social media, and we'll get to like all your handles and that and sharing that. But what do you see yourself doing in the next 5 and 10 years once you kind of you turn that page and retire from the NYPD?
You know what? That's a great question. And that's one of those questions that I go, I have to like really sit down, but I know I definitely want to continue doing what I love, which is what I'm doing right now. And just spread the word about health and wellness to people and let them know. I want to get out there more and just speak to people in person. I'll have that time to go out and do guest speaking and let people know how it is to get healthy, and just talk to them about mental health, what's going on in their lives, because all this intertwined with each other, right? Because to me, especially what's coming next will be explaining to people about foods and your mental health, how that could affect your mental health as well. So I want to go out there and let people know about more about life, about how you can accomplish it, how you can accomplish what you can accomplish. So to be more of a motivational speaker, I would say that's something that I would love to accomplish, to go out and speak to people, go to the schools, speak to young kids, especially with the background that I have. I would love to go out and do more of that, because there's so many times I've had opportunities to where someone have asked to do something, and because of my schedule,
it's gonna be hectic.
Yes, I have to say no. So now being retired, I'll be able to say, you know what, yes, I can come to the school, and yes, I can speak to the kids, and yes, I can do this, yes, I can go live more on social media and speak to people and let them know, just talk, communicate with people more. So that's what I love to do. I love to expand my brand in that way, and I just love it. It's something that I enjoy doing. I just want to spread the word more, and I'll have more time to do that. So I just want to expand my brand, pretty much.
Yes, I'm excited. You're going to continue on that, because that continues on, like you said, that's your brand. So whether you're in college, the department store, NYPD, the speaking, the YouTube, the nutrition, all these things kind of go together. And so when you do go give a speech and you talk, you're able to leverage all those pieces that you learned over the years. And if you wouldn't have been given those opportunities, which might have seemed at the time, like, well, why am I doing this? And this is driving me nuts. Why are these people doing it? And you're saying, oh my gosh, because I did that, you can start integrating that in your stories, which I'm sure you've already done, and that's building and continuing to build your brand. So how important before we get to the handles, how important is your brand, just as an individual? Because my students, some of them throughout the 9 years I've been teaching, they think that, oh, well, you have to be, you know, a LeBron James. You have to be somebody that's ultra, uber successful, and like, oh, that's their brand. But everybody, I think, has a brand,
Right.
and that
Right.
dictates what you can do and what you want to do. So how important is that to anybody, really?
Well,
You know?
I would say your brand is very important because your brand is you, right? You are your brand. So whatever you do, that's your brand. So to me, your brand could be anything, right? Let's say I'm good at swimming. And if that's what I want to make my brand, I'm going to start going out speaking to people about swimming. How can you swim faster? Can you now stay under the water longer? Can you go like this faster? You know, certain tips and tricks that you can use as a swimmer. And that's your brand, if that's what you want it to be. And your brand could be many different things. Like you just said, I am a detective. You're doing a podcast. You're a teacher as well. That's also a part of your brand. Your brand doesn't have to be just one thing. You can use all the experience and everything that you have and put it all together. It could be how mental health affect you as a worker in a department store. How does swimming make you feel after? How do you feel after you finish swimming? So your brand could start out as one thing, and it may take you into a different direction, you know. So for me, let's say my brand on my Maxine's Corner, I am doing cooking, right? I'm doing health, cooking, and then I do the television, right? Yeah. And then when I go and I do that, we do TikTok trends, foods that are trending on TikTok, right? So although it still has to do with food, as you may see, that also took me in a different direction. You know, I am cooking food on YouTube. I am talking still about health and wellness, but the TikTok trends, I hope I'm saying, is it TikTok? TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you got it.
TikTok, TikTok. Okay. Right? So so that the foods that are trending on TikTok, right? Yeah. Are not always healthy, right? But this is what's trending. There's Oreo cookies with bacon around it, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's the trend that I am showing on television. That's what I'm bringing to them, right? Because that's what's trending. So I would say, don't just look like this, right? Just don't think, because your trend could be broad. You could be going in one direction, and then life has a way of taking you in another direction. But that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to go with the flow, right? So your brand, but at the end of the day, you also still have to remember your brand is you. Yeah. You don't want to veer too far off from your brand as well, because at the end of the day, I'm still talking about food, right? Though some of those foods may not be as healthy, but those are the trends that's happening right now. So that's what I'm talking about, whatever is trending. So just for everyone to know that your brand could take you in different directions, and that's okay, right? As long as you're staying true to yourself at the end of the day, when it comes to your brand, that's what's important. Don't do something that you feel that's not a part of your brand. Because I've had many opportunities to do things, and to me, I say no because it's not a part of my brand. So you make that decision and what you want to be a part of your brand, right? Like you said, LeBron James played basketball, but now he's doing acting. Yes. Right? Would you say acting is not a part of his brand?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, that's
right. So you just have to just go with it. Sometimes it takes you in a different directions. Like I said, I do the health and fitness, and then when I go on the television and I do the TikTok, and Okay, is it TikTok?
It's TikTok. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You got it. Yeah.
And then when I do TikTok, it's when I do or like trending foods sometimes, whatever's trending, it's not always what's trending is not always healthy. But then I still tell people about it because
Exactly.
no one is gonna be healthy 100%. I'm just giving them option, like, okay, I'm not saying that you can't have French fries. Okay, maybe you can swap it out sometimes for sweet potato fries. I'm giving you options, but you can still enjoy your French fries. I'm just saying that you're not going to have French fries every single day, right? So you can still enjoy the foods that you love, but just tweak it a little bit sometimes. So that, like I said, so just using LeBron also as an example, that he's doing basketball, but he's also an actor as well. So don't just think that your brand has to be one specific thing. Your brand could take you in different directions, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do with your brand and where you want to take your brand. So that's something to think about as well.
You
Yes.
bet. And we're at the end of our time together.
Oh,
But before we go, I want to share with everybody how they can learn more about you, what you do, follow you, tune in. If you could share all that information, because that'll go in our show notes as well. Uh,
right.
so yeah, it's
Okay, well, Maxine's Corner, it's Maxines Corner, all one word, on all social media platforms.
perfect.
Instagram, YouTube, you can find me there doing recipes and also sharing recipes on Instagram as well. Maxine's Corner, all one word. Yes. Thank you so
Make it easy. I know you got started, so you just go right across the board. If you're doing
much. Right.
you
Yes.
want
Yes.
people to, it'd be easy for people to know.
Yes.
Like, oh,
Very.
I'm watching her on YouTube, and then I check out her Instagram. Is there a number in there, a
All the
letter, or a
same.
space?
Nope, it's all the same.
Oh my God. Well, I just
Yeah.
want to give a huge thank you for your time, for again your service to New York City, the country, the world, and want to wish you the best of luck in everything you're doing. Because, like you said, if no matter what your brand and what you get into, as long as you're true to yourself and what you want to do, and that makes you feel good, and it's not attached to a paycheck, that somebody's going to be happier more times than not. And I think that by you sharing that is awesome, because your your background and what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you got started, I think it's just phenomenal that and by you closing on, not everything's a straight line, that there might be some zigs and zags to it, but as long as you're staying true to yourself, that's what's important. So Maxine, we want to thank you for joining us today on the Voices for Voices podcast, and wish you, again, all the best, all the luck, congratulations. Coming up on your retirement, that's phenomenal, that's awesome to hear,
Thank you.
and that you love it, it's even
Yes.
better. Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me. It was great. It was wonderful. Yes.
absolutely. So we want to thank you as well, our audience, our listeners, our viewers, those checking us out on our transcript. No matter what platform we're on, we want to thank our guest again, Maxine Corner, for spending so much of her time with us today. I hope she has inspired you the way she is inspiring me to continue to go after your dreams, my dreams, that we can continue to dream, that dreams are still possible. So until next time, I'm Justin Allen Hayes, and I hope you have a great day and be a voice for yourself or somebody in need.